Ghostly figures. Anyway, we didn't see any ghostly figures down there the other day when we were filming. But Annie has a very pixie-ish sense of humour, and she did a very quick shot of herself saying that whatever went wrong with this shoot, she would be blamed. And then over her shoulder, she showed me nodding my head. Yes, I'm not taking any stick. It's you, Eddie. You're the one to blame. So she put that out on not Facebook, the other one, Instagram, and got immediate results from people who she really is quite funny when she gets going. And when she put this up, it struck everybody's funny bone. Anyway, those are the things that we've been up to, and isn't it amazing, for me anyway, we're halfway through this program. And I would say that, my goodness me, how do you get halfway through a program? I've played one record, dribbled about various things, and at the end, I always manage to not find enough time to say what I want to when I leave. But I think it would be nice if we played a local song. I don't think we call them songs anymore, do we? But anyway, a local track, let's get modern, called Skywalker. And it is from a New Haven duo, husband and wife, Claire and John. And I have played one of the tracks, Birdcage, earlier earlier in the week, a couple of weeks or so ago. They are extremely good. I have a wonderful relationship with a family who are as crazy as I am, and we when we get together we do the most weird and wonderful things. But anyway, let's listen to Skywalker first, and perhaps we might have a chat about the eccentricities afterwards. Skywalker with Claire and John and Dandelion Charm.
It's a tightrope walk on an ice age, honey, and you can play that game, but it won't be funny for long. For long. She's high, she's a skywalker, doesn't matter, just focus your mind on the wire ahead, it doesn't matter, it's a long way down, long way down. So you place your foot to assess the tension and convince yourself to continue knowing it's wrong. It's wrong. of the world tonight. Skywalking.
John and Claire, Dandelion Charm. Keep an eye open for them. A duo going places. They are now quite well known right across the southeast, and they're pumping up towards an appearance, I guess, in London. Of course, like everybody else, they've had their careers cut a little because of the virus, but they very cleverly decided they would sing a bit now and again on Facebook Live, and quite a few people have dipped in to see them, and that was a good initiative. You know, it's not terribly good to without all the accoutrement of proper sound, etc., but nonetheless it kept them in the public's mind and their fans' mind, and they did very, very well. John and Claire. Shorthouse. The Shorthouses, wonderful people. Remarkable people, in fact. Now, it just occurred to me that when I was searching for some music this morning, as I didn't, but will, put in the word merry, and a great friend of mine who may be listening, actually, because where she is, it's only 10 o'clock at night. Well, it's coming up to 11 o'clock at night, in Victoria, on Vancouver Island, in British Columbia, right on the other side of Canada. Wonderful, wonderful part of the world. And Victoria particularly is very old-fashioned. It's got the central government there, sorry, not the central government, it's got the provincial government there, and a magnificent hotel. It's got a ferry service to the United States, which is only a few miles away, and so a great tourist centre, a very, very popular place to go. Mary lives there after living in various places, but when I first knew her, she lived in a place called Terrace in British Columbia, and I was invited to go and stay there for the summer and work as a milkman. She didn't hire me as a milkman, but one of the local farmers wanted a milkman, and it sounded like a great opportunity and to have a wonderful summer away from Vancouver, which I did for a while. I had a route, and I delivered milk bottles and so on and so forth, and then I was struck down by mononucleosis, known as the kissing disease, I suppose. If anybody's going to get the kissing disease, I suppose it's going to be me. But it is rather a devastating disease. It's not fatal, but it knocks you out. So I spent the rest of the summer exploring that area. And one of the things that fascinated me was that if you go from Prince George, which is one of the major towns, along to the coast, to the destination, I want to say Sandspit, and Sandspit is the little community across in Alaska, and I've just forgotten for the moment the name of the town that we would go to, but anyway, it's a fishing town, built on rock and muskeg on the very far west coast of British Columbia. And the railway in between, I think it was called the PGE, the Pacific Great Eastern, they expected a great flood of immigrants from Prince George and Prince Rupert. I'm sorry there. Isn't that silly that I would have actually forgotten the name of that town temporarily? Just shows how old I am. It's Prince Rupert, and they thought that there was going to be a huge influx of immigrants to northern British Columbia because it's quite beautiful and so on. So a railway line was built between Prince George and Prince Rupert. I'm having a guess, I say 100, 150 miles perhaps, but it didn't transpire. The immigrants didn't come to that part of the world. They decided to go elsewhere. So the railway stands there to this day, and it is used a bit. But along the tracks are stations, and you can drive on a road parallel to the railway line, and you'll see a station, and nothing else at all. But in those stations are the plans that were drawn up for the towns that would actually be served by those stations and by the railway, right down to where the post office would be and the mayor's office would be, and so on and so forth. all the plans and the drawings and the architects' pictures and so on and so forth, to show where things should go when the immigrants arrived. Well, they're still waiting. I don't know, it might be worthwhile, if you really wanted to get away from it, to approach the railway and say, can we start a town? Will you stop the train? It'd be sort of fun if it could, but it is a fascinating part of the world. You go down to Prince Rupert and the mouth of the mighty Fraser River. Is it the Fraser? Yes. And there again, there is a huge history. There were paddle steamers that went into Prince Rupert until fairly recently. And the paddle steamer, of course, where everybody thinks that it's gone out of use, is used in some places so that it can get into shallow water, because it hasn't got much of a draft, and the big paddle at the back is just stirs the water, basically. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. It's 27 minutes to go. Shall I play you something else? Yes, I will, because there's no sense in me rambling on when you're expecting something else. Here we are, all at the fair. Oh, it was sort of pretty. And actually, you could hear the boop boop. I forget what they call them now. On the merry-go-round, and there's one still that does that on Brighton Pier, I believe. If you haven't been to Brighton Pier, go there. It's a great attraction. Brighton, not a bad place to go. Just a few miles down the road from us. And go is the operative word. I have to. Unfortunately, I have to. Till tomorrow, toodle pip.